Dustin.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up? What's up?
When was that? Was that the early 2000s or that the late 90s?
Yeah, that was both. I think it was like
98.
I don't know. It's probably like between 98 and 2001, somewhere in there.
I want to see Budweiser was up commercial 1995. No, that was the frogs. 1999.
There we go.
The commercial campaign for Budweiser beer from 1999 to 2002.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I loved that. I loved those commercials. That was like prime TV watching age for me. So I saw every now and then I'll go on like Instagram reels and some account will pop up that's like a 90s account and their whole existence is like reminding you of old ads. And I sent this to you guys. Yeah. And one of them was that Sears commercial with the, nothing gonna be another scorcher. Yeah. You call now. I'll call now. Yeah.
I want to see somebody do a sketch that's like the dark version of that. Like, you'll call now.
Yeah. Yeah. The husband's like, you'll call now. You'll sleep in the garage again. I'm sorry, hun. I'm sorry. I'll call them now. You're damn right you will, Barbara. Yeah, but I remember it was so popular that they put it in Scary Movie. Like they had it parodied in that film.
Yeah.
And they had the speaking of Scream, they had like Ghostface like calling the Marlon Wayans character like, yeah, hey man, what's up? It's you. And they changed like the mask.
Yes.
That's so silly. Anyway, okay, cool. Well, that was that.
That's the whole episode. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. All right. Let's talk about the whale.
Okay.
You're an amazing person, Ellie. I couldn't ask for a more incredible daughter.
Are you actually trying to parent me right now?
Who would want me to be a part of their life?
You don't stay in touch with Mom?
She really only tells me things about you.
Why?
Because that's all I want to know about.
Why'd you gain all that weight?
Someone close to me passed away, and it had an effect on me.
You haven't seen her since she was 8 years old, and you're gonna reconnect with her?
Sorry.
I don't like this. This isn't a good idea.
I'm sorry.
You say you're sorry one more time, I will shove a knife right into you, I swear to God.
Go ahead, what's it gonna do? My internal organs are 2 feet in at least.
Why do you suddenly need to see her so bad? Why now?
Liz. I'm worried that she's forgotten what an amazing person she is. I need to know that she's gonna have a decent life where she cares about people and that she's gonna be okay. I need to know that I have done one thing right with my life.
All right, The Whale, everybody. So The Whale was released in 2022, Oscar season 2022. But it's directed by Darren Aronofsky. It's written by Samuel D. Hunter, who is adapting his own stage play here. And it stars Brendan Fraser, Sadie Sink, Hong Chow, Ty Simpkins, and Samantha Morton. And it's a film about a morbidly obese college English teacher who is not doing great health-wise, and he's has an opportunity to try to patch things up with his estranged daughter. That's the plot. There's other stuff going on, but I don't want to say too much. So it's more dire than that. I'll tell you one thing that happens really early in the movie. He is sort of diagnosed with congestive heart failure at the beginning of the film. So he has days to live if he does not go to a hospital. Gotcha. So time is ticking important here. Yeah, the film takes place within that week. It's not like it's a 3-month long story. Like the film is pretty well paced. It's not that slow. Yeah, so The Whale. So I'd heard that this movie was really good. Obviously, I think we'd all heard. And then obviously Brendan Fraser ended up winning the Academy Award for the performance, which, you know, I hadn't even seen the film. And I was like, this is well-deserved. Like, I'd seen clips and I was like, wow, even that, like, that's crazy. So I watched the movie. I wandered into the library and like I had a late fee or something and not enough money to be able to pay it with debit. It has to be like $1.50 or you have to use cash. And I was like, okay, I'll just go get a movie and we'll add this up. And so I grabbed a couple of movies. We'll talk about the other one in a minute. So I got a couple of Blu-rays here and I was like, you know what? Let me get some Blu-rays. And so The Whale was still not available to watch anywhere for streaming. And I was like, boom, 75 cents, get The Whale. And so I watched this with my wife. And the movie is a powerful character study. This character is suffering and we're peeking in during this really important week for him. I'm going to say there's times during this film. Well, let me start with the good, for God's sake. The film, Brendan Fraser is incredible in the movie. As everyone probably assumed, he won the award for it. So it must have been good. It is. And it's not even so much like, oh, he's so convincing as like a really fat person. It's just his soul. It really is the character. This character could have just been Brendan Fraser without any prosthetics, and I would have felt the same. His optimism, and his, I mean, the man is properly suffering. He's in a state, but he manages to kind of bring forth this Charlie character's, positivity, and his sort of charity towards so many conversations happen with people in this movie where a lesser film would have had more dramatic, like arguing scenes, and they would have had Charlie arguing with people, and Charlie just doesn't waste time bickering with people in the movie. He answers questions, and even when he's, you know, it was so interesting just watching him, like, you know, have terrible things said to him about him to his face, and the way he just sort of would, like, it's not like a Ted Lasso-esque, like, you know, kindness jujitsu. It's just a wow, what like a beautiful soul this character has. You know, you don't feel like, I think what it does is it helps you empathize with him. I mean, the story gives you plenty of reasons to, but the performance invests you more in Charlie just because you don't feel like not only is he, you know, just sort of like suffering from, you know, his binge eating and the trauma that caused him to begin with, or this bad relationship with his ex-wife, or the state of his health. In that sense, he brought it on himself, sort of, I guess you would say, but it's not like he's also like a huge prick, you know, like there's none of that. So yeah, sure. Sadie Sink is really good in the movie. And everyone's good in this. Samantha Morton shows up at some point. She plays his ex-wife. She's great. Everyone's good. There was times during the movie where I didn't find the bodysuit convincing. And that's just sort of an idle thing. I just sort of, there were times where I was like, okay, like he's clearly wearing like some kind of big prosthetic, but like, to be fair, I don't know. What am I, a bodysuit expert? I don't know. Right. There was times where I was very aware of the stage roots of this story, but I'm not the first person to say that. A lot of people have said that, like, oh, it's clearly based on a play, because the movie cinematically rarely leaves his apartment. And I mean, the scene opens where like he's having like a heart issue. And in this very same shot, like the front door, you know, the door, someone knocks at the door and he's like, oh, it's not unlocked. And they come in and I'm just like, man, this is like, from the first shot, I was like, this is just like a play. Like, I feel like, you know, okay, now we're going to enter and
people enter and exit.
We're going to light the stage, you know? And so from the go, I was like, okay, I'll try. And again, we talked about Mass recently on this show. There's nothing wrong with movies that you could easily put on stage. Yeah. That usually means the dialogue's really great. Yep. And the character dynamics are very dramatic and interesting. So I've got nothing against that. If a movie's based on a play, I'm usually like, oh, hell yeah. Like that means we're not doing any bullshit special effects or, you know, silly set pieces. Like, we're going to focus on character.
Yeah.
So that's fine with me. It's just, it's kind of is apparent, but again,
Sure.
that's a very highbrow criticism. My dad's not going to care about that, you know?
Sure.
All the cinematic flair is reserved for the movie's final minutes, and those final minutes are a hell of a crescendo. And again, I don't want to give anything away, but it's a floodgate opener. And that's where I was just like, he's just, Brendan Fraser, just so amazing and so vulnerable and heartbreaking in this movie. It's just such a good performance. So,
yeah,
you know, sometimes those Oscar winners, you're just like, I guess they cried enough times, whatever. But like, the movie really, comes home, for me. So, I don't know what I would rate The Whale, but it's really good. So probably 4.5 stars. I don't have huge critiques other than those kind of superficial ones.
Sure.
You know, and again, the stage play thing is only like, if you're going to make a movie, it should probably be like obvious why it should be a movie and not a book or a play. And so for most of this movie, you're like, I don't know. I'm not sure what's different about the play other than probably music, camera angles. The movie's shot in 4:3. I'm not a fan of that generally. After a while, I didn't notice, but for a while, I was like, God, I just hate this aspect ratio so much.
Yep.
Anyway, it's, I would recommend you see The Whale. If you haven't seen The Whale, check out The Whale.
Sweet.
Yeah, I don't want to say, of course I want to talk about like the ending, you know, to just drive a couple more points home, but you know, I'd rather you just take my word for it. I think, can I try and thread the needle? I think that I don't think it gives anything away to say that I found the characters, Charlie's, his instinct to care and to help, you know, he's kind of bribing his daughter to spend time with him. Because he feels like he's going to die soon, but he just sort of bribes her and sort of convinces her, like, I'll help you with your essays. Like he's doing stuff for her, even though she's just terrible to him. And I found that's why I talked about the positivity of the character. I think that his willingness, and eagerness to just be of service somehow, after what he did to their family.
Sure.
I found that very redemptive and inspiring. And of course, like at times, like heartbreaking. And so that is a through line that's all the way through the movie until the very end. And so that's why when the film ends, that's an idea that's still very much at the forefront. And so it's a very emotional conclusion. So,
okay.
Yeah, I would. If you were thinking, again, just like we talked about with Barbie, if you were thinking about this, do it. Just see The Whale. It's great.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. The other movie I want to talk about is A Good Person.
Aren't you engaged to Nathan Adams?
I was, yeah.
I heard what happened to you, the accident.
The woman that died was about to be my sister-in-law.
Time keeps on coming.
Hi, Dan.
I've been all around.
I'm worried about you.
I want my life back. I want my child back.
I need help.
I know.
Allison, don't run away now because of me.
There are thousands of meetings. I'll find another one.
Well, somehow you found your way to this one. Come on.
Stare into space.
Lately, so much of my life has been out of control. I just caught my granddaughter having sex with a boy who looked like a man.
Hey, Belinda, I found this fool in bed with my Ryan.
She said she was 18 online.
You're a fuck boy. He's a fuck boy. That's what the kids call them. Get out of our neighborhood, fuck boy.
Okay.
What the hell did you do to your hair?
It's Makeover Monday.
It's Friday.
Oh. This is incredible.
My wife used to hang out with me down here. She liked to whistle.
I don't know how to do this.
Takes work. I got one of those audio books on how to talk to a teen.
How's that working out?
I am so not going to talk about sex with my grandfather.
Really? Because I just love this shit. I'm in way over my head.
So, A Good Person, written and directed by Zach Braff. I think it's only the third he's written, directed, and produced, like solely. Like, there was Garden State.
Yeah, Garden State.
And then there was...
the Grandpa movie, whatever it was. What is it?
What?
It was a Grandpa movie, wasn't it?
There was Wish I Was Here.
Is that a Grandpa movie?
I don't think so. Mandy Patinkin's in it. Does that count?
There was a
kind of
Grandpa
old.
movie. Hold on. I'm going to figure it out. There was a Grandpa movie, right?
Going in Style.
Going in Style.
Yeah.
Grandpa movie. That's it. That's the Grandpa movie.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. Yeah, you're right. Wow. How is this any different from like Las Vegas? Morgan Freeman's in that one too.
And what was the new one? The 40 80 for Brady. Is that what it was? Is that what it was?
Yeah. That was like Edward 40 Hands.
There's like a whole subgenre of grandpa and grandma movies.
Yeah. The elderly romp.
Yes.
Bucket
list.
Bucket list. Yeah. Yeah. No, this is not an old person movie.
Dirty Grandpa.
Dirty Grandpa, Bad Grandpa. Grandma's Boy. No, this movie is written, directed by Zach Braff. It stars and is produced by Florence Pugh. And we've also got Morgan Freeman in here, Molly Shannon. And it's a movie, it's a movie about addiction. It doesn't start that way, but Florence Pugh is a young woman who is very happy in life, and then she is in a car accident. She's at fault in a car accident that ends up killing some family members of her fiance. And so it's, we flash forward a year, she's been through heavy physical therapy. She's addicted to opioids because of, the painkillers. Life is not great for her. And she's depressed, and she feels guilty, and she ends up going to a meeting, and at the meeting she encounters Morgan Freeman's character, who is the father of her fiance and one of the people who was killed in the car accident. So she's like, oh God, he is there because he's a recovering alcoholic. And so they sort of inadvertently sort of pair up and become part of each other's lives in the wake of this, because they're linked through this previous life and by, of course, this accident. And there's other elements at play here with the daughter who lost her family, the fiance who has moved on. So A Good Person is a good watch. It's emotional. It's engaging. It's pretty honest to me. I don't think it forces its story to wrap up super neatly, because there is damage done in this film that can't be undone, and that is central to the film's message. And sometimes movies that take this tone, this kind of schmaltzy, sentimental tone that this movie takes, sometimes they just wrap up and everything's great. But when the film opens with people dying, you can't unring that bell. So the movie's under fire for being too schmaltzy and melodramatic. So depending on your tolerance for that, it is. I'm not going to tell you that the movie is like, no, it's super dramatic. Whatever you're talking about. Like, it is. There's times where you're just like, okay, what? Come on. But for the story pace being as tight as it is, I was never bored, and the performances are really good here. Florence Pugh is great in the film. Morgan Freeman is great in the film. So I was dialed in the whole time. So I'm not going to give it like a 5-star review. Probably 3.5.
Okay.
So I enjoyed it. I mean, you've seen one addiction movie, you've seen them all. You've seen people suffering with the withdrawals and relapsing and the stuff that, and then being put in tempting situations and then trying to work the program. And then, there's literally a montage in this when she figures everything out and gets there. That spoiler, she doesn't die. She doesn't overdose. Like she makes it. But it's about, it's about, and in a weird way, it's a lot about the whale. There's this impulse to help that's kind of central to the film. So I don't know. The letterbox reviews I read for this were not very kind. One person wrote, written and directed by Zach Braff. Yes, that is patently obvious. It's like, okay, man, come on. Like, man. But, so I haven't seen Garden State. I haven't seen any of Zach Braff's films, so I can't tell you if I'm even a fan of his. Sure. I just like when people write and direct their movies. I don't know. So I don't know that if I had seen all those films, if I'd be like, okay, this is a thing with him. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it's, I don't know. It's solid, I think. So again, if you want to see a movie, that's not a very strong endorsement. If you want to see a movie, here's a movie. If you want to see
a movie, this is one.
I don't know. A good person is a good flick.
Okay.
A 3-star person.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Florence Pugh I was explaining to my wife who she is because I was like, Florence Pugh's like, she's big right now. Like she's, I think it was, and I was reading about her. It was recent. It was only like 2019 that she popped up.
Yeah.
Like the whole, like even Black Widow, like that was shot before like Florence Pugh, like was Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
Like I believe it was, let me just double check my date here, but like the breakthrough. Yeah. It even says here on Wikipedia, Pugh starred in 3 major films in 2019, during which she was recognized as having experienced an international breakthrough. So there was Fighting with My Family, which I have not seen, that Stephen Merchant wrote and directed, about a family of wrestlers. There was Midsummer, which I did see, and I thought she was good in. And then Little Women.
Yeah.
Which I have not seen the Greta Gerwig Little Women yet.
It's great.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I almost said I know. I don't know because I haven't seen it, but like I do know this by osmosis. I know that it's good. I don't. Where is it even? Is it somewhere? Where is this?
I don't know. I actually own Little Women.
Do you?
I loved it. Yes.
Okay, currently, it's nowhere. I can't find it. Okay. So I can't, it's not on any basic streaming services. So I have not seen it yet. I should get on that because I mean, I think that's a great cast and I like Greta Gerwig and anyway, so like those 3 films and then like Black Widow, when was the original release date for that? That was supposed to be, that was shot in October 2019. So by the time these movies were coming out, like she's on set, aware that she's blowing up,
Yeah. Right.
But no, like anyway, Florence Pugh, she's one of those people where her involvement in a movie, really is a decider for me to see it. Sure. I don't know anything about Fighting with My Family. I just heard, I think at the time she's good in it. Yeah. And she's one of those people, man, like this happens every now and then. Like this is the case with Karen Gillan as well. And a handful of other actors where you just look at them and you go, and probably a little bit of Jennifer Lawrence, I would say, where you're just like, they just seem like a normal person. And Florence Pugh is only like 27. And she already has all this exposure where you're just like, okay, like, I don't know. I'm in on Florence Pugh. I think she's got a strong screen presence. She's a really great performer. She has excellent comedic timing. She got a super deep voice. She's going to be in the Dune. She's going to be in part 2.
She's going to be in Dune. She's in Oppenheimer.
She's in Oppenheimer. Yeah. She's everywhere, damn it. So it's one of those things where we said this before on the show, but you go like, whoever that person's agent is doing a great job.
Yes.
Because they're putting them in every film that matters.
Yes.
You know?
Correct. Yep.
So do not fire your representation.
I mean, look, if you're in the MCU and Dune, you're doing well enough.
Yeah.
Right. But then you're also like, I'm going to also just pepper in every critically acclaimed film.
Yeah. We'll put you, we have to get you in an A24 film. Yeah. You know, and then after that, we're going to get you in what studio is this one? I think it's another independent studio. Well, no, not independent really. MGM distributed, but like, yeah, that's a good person. So
yeah.
Oh crap! I meant to do this another time. Can I interest you in something before we go?
Sure.
As a tag.
Sure.
No more movies, everybody. You can go if you want to. We're just gonna talk about something I found that I wrote.
Yeah.
My mom came by the other day and like there was this found something I had to make for school one time when I was a kid, and I must have been like in first or second grade or something because my spelling is atrocious here. Anyway, but like it was made in some like, you know, very early like clip art based program.
Sure.
And I think I just wanted to illustrate real quick before I throw this in the garbage because I'm not going to keep it. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening. You seem very proud of bringing this over, but I don't know what you expect me to do with this.
Right.
So I'm doing something with it. I'm immortalizing this in audio.
There you go.
So you're welcome. But whatever this was I called it People from Other Places, a book about people in other places.
I know exactly what that title means now. I mean, that's a very descriptive title.
So here's what you can see. I'll show you the pictures, Dustin, but it's, you know, it's Indians, you know, or Native Americans. And so I wrote this sort of like a screenplay where I wrote a name and then dialogue. Narrator: the Indians are hanging out in their village. Indian: boy, this fun. Now, I don't know if that was me as a child assuming that they're not going to use words like is, which is super racist.
But they are going to talk colloquially like it's 1990.
Or
boy, boy, this fun.
Like at first I thought I wrote Indian boy, but there's a colon after Indian. So it's like, no, I wrote boy, this fun.
Boy, this fun.
I spelled Indian INDIEN.
Okay.
Indian. The Indians are hanging out in their village. 1L. So that's good stuff.
Flag.
So we switch now because now we've got Cowboys in this empty baseball stadium here.
Okay. Yep.
People listening are like, what the fuck?
What is this?
Narrator: the Cowboys are hanging out just like the Indians. Cowboy leaning against hammock. This is cool. You can see the hammock in this picture.
Inspiring dialogue here.
I know, it's so good. So you're like, oh, cool, great. We got the characters. Like, what's the story? You know. Here we go. Now we're in ancient Greece. So you got.
Okay. Yep.
See, if there's because my perspectives are terrible as a kid, both socially and visually. The guy in the back looks like a giant because he's not.
It's Andre the Giant back there.
But they're in some museum. So it's a nice museum for ancient Greece. It looks like the Louvre, but there's 3 men in togas. Narrator:
Is this a museum in ancient Greece of ancient Greek artifacts?
I'm not sure what the hell's going on. Narrator: a long time ago in ancient Greece, ancient spelled ANCHENT, ancient Greece, GREESE, Greece,
Greece,
like geese. A long time ago in ancient Greece, there lived men who walked barefooted. Man standing still. Which way is the way to the king's room? Man holding out his hand. What do you need it for? Man standing still. Because I need to talk to him. Man in background. You don't need to. You want to. Just like, okay, fine, asshole. Like, I want to. What's the fucking difference?
Semantics. Come on.
He's such a prick. Man holding out his hand. What do you need to talk to him about? Man standing still.
I need to tell him, boy, this fun.
Man standing still. None of your beeswax.
None of your beeswax.
None of your beeswax. Of course, not none. Non of your bees. B-E-E-S-E.
Bees.
And I immediately thought of bees.
Bees. We have beasts in Greece.
None of your beeswax! Exclamation point.
Let me tell you this. We have beasts in Greece.
And I was sitting here like, normally when I come across this kind of thing, I'm like, oh, I remember this assignment was such and such. I'm looking at this like, I don't know what the assignment was, but I had to have failed. I can't tell for the life of me what the point of this was. Like, just do people and places. Like, use clip art. My mom was like, can you figure out what the program is called? I was like, no, I have no idea.
I have no clue.
There's no watermark on this. It's not like it was like Photoshop. I have no clue. No clue.
Okay.
Anyways, the reason I brought that up, the reason I thought that would have some utility on the podcast, maybe, other than just reading it to you. I'm not going to scan this and email it to you.
Right, sure.
I'm a much better writer now. And so I think that goes to show that everyone's got to start somewhere. And usually where you start is really terrible. Whether you have a horrible misconception about how Native Americans would speak, or if you think cowboys would lean against hammocks, or overly critical Greek people. It's like, I was reading this and I was like, wow, there's a lot more dialogue in this scene. Like, look at all this text. What's going on here? And it's just, which way? Why? Because I need to. No, you don't. Yeah. What do you need to talk to him about? None of your business. Like,
look, you established conflict between the characters.
I did.
And it is, so your protagonist has a goal. Like, that's great. I don't know what the Cowboys and the Indians are doing. That's just a prologue.
We're just establishing that in this community, there are Greeks, there are Cowboys, and there are Indians. Only the Greeks are in conflict. The Cowboys and Indians, they've got it figured out. They just get to sit around and say, this is cool.
You know, we're actually ignoring the big thing here, which is that I think you have grounds to sue Night at the Museum. Like, I think you came up with that. Like, I think that's what this is. Like, the Cowboys are Owen Wilson.
Yes. And the Indians are in here.
Yep. And then you just need Robin Williams and Ben Stiller, and you've got yourself a lawsuit, my friend.
There's no pages that go with this. There's just a title page for the next one. But I did this again. And this bolsters your Night at the Museum argument. This one's called Going Back to Dinosaur Times.
Oh, there you go.
So there would have been dinosaurs. I don't know if there's a dinosaur in the first Night at the Museum, but there was in the second one.
There's a T-Rex. I think I saw the first Night at the Museum, but there's a T-Rex skeleton.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna sue Disney or Fox, whoever made those films.
Wasn't there a joke in one of those? I think I saw it on YouTube where Hugh Jackman was in it.
Was he? Wait a second.
And he makes a Wolverine joke.
Oh,
like I think he does the thing where the claws would come out, and then somebody says like wrong franchise or something.
He is in, I think it's the third one, because he's doing a stage play. And hold on, let me see here. Hugh Jackman performances. Let me find it, because Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb. Yeah, so he's doing King Arthur. This was in 2014. Lancelot crashes the musical Camelot starring Hugh Jackman and Alice Eve, and is stunned to realize that unlike the other exhibits, Lancelot and Camelot are not real.
I don't also, this is directed by Sean Levy.
Yes. who was directing Deadpool 3.
Yep.
He also directed Hugh Jackman in was it Real Steel? Is that what we said it was?
Yes, Real Steel.
Okay. Yeah. There we go. The Wolverine was not the first time James Mangold directed Hugh Jackman. He directed him in 2001 in a film called Kate and Leopold.
Yeah.
And just like, I wonder what that's like when you walk on set and you're like, yep, very different film, huh? Huh, James?
Yep.
Sure is. Let's go to work.
Speaking of James Mangold, this is also just for you. I found this the other day, this Steelbook 4K release of 310 to Yuma.
Ooh.
And I was like, yo, I have to get that. It's so cool. And I was like, this is fantastic. And I've been wanting to upgrade from the DVD anyway.
Man, that's good looking.
Man. Yeah, dude.
Man, we were talking about that list I had of the physical media. When was that? I mean, that was before the Extraction episode.
Yeah.
So that was a few weeks back. But yeah, man, that's good looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a great packaging.
Yeah.
So to anybody who's listening, 310 to Yuma, Steelbook, 4K. It's a Best Buy exclusive. So digital code. Whoops. Well, nobody sees this, whatever. But anyway, yeah, look at this.
That's cool. You got one
really cool.
One disc with Russell Crowe, one with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Was it the special features? Is that why it's 2 disc?
It's DVD and Blu-ray.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
man. It's pretty cool.
I'm really glad that they do DVD and Blu-ray releases still, because that gives me hope that they'll, if they're going to keep making DVDs, they'll keep making Blu-rays.
Right.
It's nice to be ahead of the curve a little bit.
Yep, for sure. Did I ever tell you, speaking of your old writing?
Oh yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the one summer that so I guess I was probably like, I must have been in between 4th and 5th grade, or maybe it was like sometime during 5th grade. They did a writing seminar at a college nearby for elementary school kids. And I was invited by my teacher, who I guess saw like, oh, Dustin's interested in writing and, whatever. And so he submitted my name to it. I got in, I went to this thing, and the whole thing was like, we're going to learn how to write. We're going to learn about story all week long. And then you're going to write a story and you're going to be published in this book. And so I've got the book around here somewhere, and my short story is published in this book. And it's so embarrassing because everybody's like writing these short stories about like, it's all elementary school kids. So they're about, kids basically, but everybody's writing these stories, and I just wrote Pokemon fan fiction. So you're like going through this book, and it's literally it's just literally like, a kid and his parents are getting divorced, or it's like a kid and he's moved to a new city, and it's things that are related to kids because it's kids writing them. But then it's like, and then there's me, and I wrote a story about a young boy named Dustin who chose Charmander as his first Pokemon, and he goes to battle Brock, and I retold the entire like red-blue game, but with me as as a self-insert fan fiction of how I became a Pokemon master.
Killed Ash and took his identity. Like, I'm gonna be the Pokemon master now.
I am the Pokemon master, and it's filled with things like, then he fought Misty and won with his Pikachu against her Starmie. Then he caught a Meowth. Then he caught a Nidoran male. And it's like, it's so embarrassing to go back and read it.
It's cringy to read even stuff I wrote 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is it would have been hilarious if they handed you the book and been like, Dustin, we're so sorry. We couldn't include your story because we don't want to get sued.
We don't want to get sued.
This is blatant plagiarism. You don't have no future as a writer.
Yes. I'm surprised they didn't stop me and be like, because my memory is that they had to do like, proofreading, and like there was like a teacher in the class who's like reading all this, and you're presenting it and stuff. And so like, it's surprising that they didn't say, look, we know that you're really into Pokemon. We get it. We get it, dude. but like, why don't you write about something not about Pokemon? Maybe they did, and I was just like, no, I'm writing about Pokemon. And they were like, all right, whatever, kid.
You sound like Team Rocket right now. Tell me I can't do things.
What are you, Giovanni?
Yeah, come on now.
I'm going to defeat you with my Squirtle. Because water is strong against rock types, and you have a Rhydon. Anyway, I'll find it. It may not even be here. It may be at my mom's house. Who knows? So I'll find it though.
She'll give it to you one day when she's trying to get rid of stuff. I got texted today like, "What's your shoe size?" Like in case your dad's like giving away shoes. I'm like, I don't need shoes. Like,
yeah, right.
I work remotely. I don't need shoes. Come on. Like what am I gonna do with like 4 pairs of like just 90s dress shoes?
Right, sure.
Yeah. Give them to my dog to chew on. That'll start happening. I don't know if that's happened to you yet with your parents, but it'll happen. They'll just start to go like, we need to get rid of our stuff. Hey, Dustin, you want to like take all this crap?
This? Yeah.
And they'll say something like, well, it was in the family. So,
Right.
And you're just like, okay, well, that doesn't mean I want it or need it.
Right. I don't need it.
I've turned down so many tables that like don't match our furniture. And also I don't need table. Like just anyway.
Yep. Yep.
It's one of those things.
Yep.
I'm going to tell them when I'm in my 60s, I'm going to tell my kids like, hey, get a fully furnished apartment. Like I'm not giving you, I will have nothing I can give you. I'm keeping all my furniture. I need all of it. I always will.
Yep.
It's mine.
It's mine. This is mine. I've amassed this.
This is mine. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, everybody, thanks for sticking around, I suppose.
Thanks for sticking around.
Okay. Good night. Good night, everyone.
Good night and good luck.